Al-Salam alaikum al-Khalifa wa Kurasan al-Muslimin wa al-Muslimat. من فضلك استمع سأتحدث الإنجليزية باسم ملك الملوك يسوع المسيح. We invite you to this challenge, to all Muslims of the world, whether you're imam, Muslim, a regular person, Muslim, sheikh, cleric, mullah, or anybody that's looking into Islam to convert. We challenge you. We know that Islam has declared that their prophet is inspired, but we can prove by the writings that this man was a confused, unintelligible man, incapable of elementary statements that made clarity on what was the truth. And we know that these texts of the Hadith, these texts of the Quran, when they were scribed and when their companions had helped write these statements, that they were also under a governing spirit of confusion led by a false prophet. So looking to the texts, we see in the Hadith that there's major end times character, which they call a man who's a prophet, that is the Dajjal. We see in the text two different accounts about the Dajjal. In Sahih Muslim 2934a, it says, Dajjal is blind of left eye with thick hair, and there would be a garden of fire with him, and his fire would be a garden, and his garden would be a fire. So we see in the account of the Hadith, which the Muslim world considers the Hadith on the same level as the Quran, that his companions and Al-Bukhari and Zaid, who had helped write the Quran, that there's no errors in Islam, there's no errors in the Quran, or even the quoting of the companions are inspired texts and accounts of Muhammad. But looking at the text here in Sahih Muslim 2934, we notice that it says that the Dajjal is blind of his left eye. So we see this declaration of the Islamic prophet that the Dajjal is blind in the left eye. But then again, in another text, we see that the declaration of the Dajjal is blind in his right eye. So looking to Sahih Bukhari 7407, Dajjal was mentioned in the presence of the prophet. The prophet said, Allah is not hidden from you. He is not one-eyed, and pointed with his hand towards his eye, adding, while Al-Masih ad-Dajjal is blind in the right eye, and his eye looks like a protruding grape. We can see that these two accounts, quoting Muhammad, are clearly confusion. It's not something that's a major statement that can be easily confused. It's a very simple, elementary statement. Either it's the right eye or the left eye. Is it the left eye or is it the right eye? We can see that there is no clarity on this because they're not speaking truth. And this proves when looking to the text that Muhammad and his companions are liars, and that Muhammad is not inspired by the Creator's Spirit, who speaks truth and reveals truth. And so this is why we proudly declare ourselves to be kafir of Islam. We are not shamed to be unbelievers of Islam. We do not receive lies. We do not receive false prophets of deception, writing books, plagiarizing the scriptures, end times, eschatology, and their events. So what we bring to you is a challenge to the Muslim world, and we invite you to come and learn to salat and learn to do it properly, according to the way that Yeshua Masih had done, according to the way that the apostles had done. according to the pure way of Christ, not after false prophets who came 630 years later, who never sat with Christ, who never saw Christ, who never knew the ways of Christ, who was uneducated, illiterate, and incapable of even reading the text to confirm whether or not what he was receiving is actually the same. And this is why there's contradictions, because he heard stories of the Bible, had other people read the Bible to him. And many of his companions of Muhammad had actually been to churches in Ethiopia. They knew of the stories, and they shared those stories and retold them. So we invite you, all of Islam, to bend your knee to the King of Kings and be spared.